guys, this will be my very first episode for this vlog entitled the Calamba Laguna to Passi Iloilo ride. So I'll be dividing this vlog into a number of episodes. So this will be the introduction. I'll be mentioning some things that you will need to prepare and some tips also. So let's get to it. So actually I prepared a list. It's the list right here. Okay, so I'll be answering some questions that maybe you guys would like to ask if you ever wanted or if you decided to go on this type of trip. So first question is, why not take a bus, a ship, or a plane instead of riding with a motorcycle? So for obvious reasons, I'm a rider, plus the fact that I always wanted to go on a tour or go on a long distance ride with a motorcycle. Second question is, how much would be the budget for this type of ride? So based on my experience, I mean, I've been doing this for like more than a year now, because I always travel from here in Calamba Laguna to Passi Iloilo every 3 months. So in my experience, you will need a budget of 4,000 pesos, less than or equal to 4,000 pesos one way. So that's inclusive of the Roro fare, fuel, toll fare if you're using a big bike, and food, and terminal fee for the road. How long is the trip? So the trip will be around 12 to 15 hours. Yes, it's possible for you to reach your destination from Calamba Laguna going to Passi Iloilo within 12 hours. Yes, it is possible, as long as the Roro schedules are somewhat cooperative or will always be on your advantage. What to prepare? For the motorcycle, besides the usual things that you will need to check, the lights, tires, and just to make sure that your motorcycle is in its good condition for this type of ride. I would really recommend for you guys to put a tire sealant on your motorcycle tires, because it will give you more confidence when riding and a peace of mind, because those tire sealants are really working. But in my case, I'm always using the tire sealant that's intended for cars, not for motorcycles, because I'm using a big bike. I mean, not to brag, but I'm using a big bike. So since the sizes of the tires of the big bike are big, obviously, in my experience, I always use the tire sealants that is used for cars. I mean, it should be okay. And as far as I know, based on my experience also, if you'll be using tire sealants that are not intended for a motorcycle, like for example it's intended for a car, or for a bus, or for a truck, it will be better, because it will give you, as far as I know, more protection with regards to punctures. So also in my experience, I'm always using the tire sealant that you can buy from car accessory shops on the shopping mall. Okay, so another tip with regards to your motorcycle, if you are using a bag or a backpack in this case, to carry your luggage on this trip. I would prefer for you guys to have a luggage box or saddle bag on your motorcycle, because it will be a bit painful for your back to use a backpack on this trip. You will be traveling for 2 to 3 hours straight. So you know, just for the sake of you having a comfortable ride, I would really suggest for you guys to have a luggage box or a saddle bag. Now, besides your motorcycle, of course, you will have to prepare for yourself. You will really need to make sure that you get enough sleep and you are in a condition to proceed on this type of ride, because obviously we do not want any accidents to happen because you fell asleep while riding a motorcycle on this trip. Because on this trip you will be riding for 2 to 3 hours straight, if you can. If you cannot, then you know, just pull over and take a rest for a few minutes, then you know, proceed on riding again. But in my case, I could ride 2 to 3 hours straight. I'll be giving a tip on how to somewhat help you with regards to riding on a longer periods. And also the reason why you will need to prepare yourself, because if you'll be doing this type of ride, you will need to wake up early. In my case, I wake up at around 11:30 p.m. up to 12:30 a.m. in order for me to reach the Batangas port at around 2 a.m. Because if you'll be boarding the Roro ship at Batangas at around 2 a.m., rest assured you can reach Passi Iloilo at around noontime, or at the most maybe 2 p.m. What to bring? Well, obviously extra money. I mean, I did mention the budget, but then again, that budget will not include like extra expenses, like for example, hopefully this will not happen to you, knock on wood. Let's say if you run into an accident, or your tires got flat, or you know, things like that. Because the 4,000 pesos that I've mentioned is for, you know, the whole riding expenses, so it doesn't include any extra expenses. Toilet paper, toiletries, you know, like soap, toothbrush, those types of things. GPS, obviously, it will help you a lot to navigate the route. And if you don't have any GPS, I mean, your mobile phone should be okay. And I'll be giving a tip on how to save data. Extra clothes, who knows, maybe you got stranded on a port somewhere, at least you got an extra clothes. Raincoat, or the waterproof lining that you have on your motorcycle jacket or pants, because even though that the weather report will say that it's all clear and sunny within the Mindoro area and the Iloilo area or the Panay Island area, rest assured those weather predictions or those weather reports will change once that you're actually there. Towels, yeah, I mean, if you're like me, that has the body type that's always been sweaty, so you always have to wipe your sweat. So towel should be okay. Photocopy of your OR and CR. You will need that for the Coast Guard inspections that you will have to undergo before you board the Roro ship. Optional, in my opinion, optional is drinking water, because I do not drink water most of the time, regardless if it's like a very hot weather while I'm doing this ride or not. Because if I'll be drinking a lot of water, I'll be doing a lot of pullovers just to take a piss. Okay, and lastly, what to wear? Well, in my opinion, I would really prefer for you guys to wear the proper motorcycle gear, like motorcycle jacket, motorcycle pants, motorcycle boots or shoes, gloves, motorcycle gloves. And the reason why is because those gears will really somewhat aid your body posture while riding. So for example, just imagine you're wearing the proper motorcycle glove. It will really aid your hand on the throttle or on the handlebar itself to position your hand or your whole hand to be like this all the time. And if it's always positioned like this, the chances of your hands getting tired on a faster rate will be minimal. So another example would be motorcycle shoes or boots. If you're using a motorcycle shoes or boots, let's say if you're using a manual transmission motorcycle, it will really aid you a lot on gear shifting instead of using the usual shoes that you have. Okay, so and the last thing that I could give you guys on this episode is some tips. First step is just to maintain the proper and correct riding speed. You really do not want to always go on full throttle on this one, because you will really need to conserve the fuel, plus the fact that there will always be some pedestrians along the way, just to be safe, just ride on the usual normal riding speed. It's for your own safety and also to conserve fuel. If you do have a motorcycle cruise control, it will be better for you to use that, because once again, this will be a very long trip. So you will be riding for 2 to 3 hours straight on this one. In my experience, I only do pauses when I'm on the Roro ship. So in order for you to continuously go on this ride without any pauses, and if you do have a motorcycle cruise control, please use it. It will be for your own good. For the GPS, if you do not have any GPS gadget or device, just use Google Maps on your phone. In my experience, I always use Google Maps instead of other GPS app that you can use on your phone, because Google Maps, in my experience, it has the option for you to save the map. And the end result of that is it will save you a lot of data, so you do not have to load your phone every time that you run out of data. Instead, it has an option to save the map. Beware of reckless drivers along the way. I mean, I do understand that in the city, you usually encounter either a reckless driver or a reckless motorcycle driver. I mean, it's usual, but here it's different, guys. It's very, very different. I will go straight to the point. They are not afraid to run you over. I will show you. I will be showing you some clips on that one on the next episode. So just beware of the reckless drivers. I mean, and on this ride, you will rarely experience reckless motorcycle riders, but most of the time you will be experiencing reckless, either a bus driver or a shuttle van driver, as long as it's a driver, as long as it drives a four-wheel automobile. And lastly, do not be scared or afraid to ask directions, because the people on those locations are kind enough to give you directions. So do not be afraid, or don't be shy, or do not feel embarrassed to ask directions. Most especially on this episode, because most of the time I use my GPS on my phone, but on this trip from Calamba Laguna to Passi Iloilo, unfortunately my phone's GPS, or the whole function of it, of getting a signal to a cellular tower, is broken. So the only way for me to reach Passi Iloilo from Calamba Laguna is to ask directions within the Mindoro Island and also within the Panay Island. So good thing for me, I've been doing this for more than a year now, so I'm a bit familiar with the routes. So if this will be your first time, I would really recommend for you to use a GPS. Either it's a gadget, a separate gadget, or the GPS on your phone itself.